Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Through the Tunnel podcast. We're actually coming live from a different venue, right in Bayshore, the Village, right? Goody Two Shoes, and this is an amazing spot because there's some history and there's a lot of connections that go hand in hand with this beautiful venue that we have here in the back room, party room. But it's not about me. It's about the person in front of me. This man right here, FTC alumni, Barattini Productions, top guy. When I'm telling you this man is undeniable, one of my mentors, his birthday was just recent. His name is Michael Kels Coppola. How you doing today, Kels?
I'm doing great, man. How are you?
I'm doing awesome, man. And the first thing I want to start off, how did this...
Your opening was fantastic.
Thank you.
That was amazing.
So, with Goody Two Shoes, right? How did you guys make this connection as a space with Barattini Productions?
It was a very cool coming together. Um, at the time, my I call her my sis. She's a writing partner and a good friend, and a very talented singer. And we spent a lot of years working on music together. I'm talking like jams, like good cuts. I got to send them to you, another day. But really good stuff. Got about 100 records. The group was called Vocal Junkies. Anyways, her line of work is restaurants and management, restaurant management and things like that. And at the time when it all happened, she was working between this place and a couple of stores down was a place called Linwood, I believe owned by the same owner, Drew. And they were in the need for some DJs. They had some guys already on, but I think there was a couple of nights where it was an open slot, and she hit me up like, "Hey, come down." And I spun a couple of times, and from there, just kind of organically bonded with all the wonderful folks here. And they gave me the opportunity. I kind of offered up. I said, "Hey, listen, I can help schedule this whole thing, and I let them know about the Barattini company and the talented people a part of it. And as we got talking more and more, it seemed like the wonderful people here at Goody and Mel, they were into it. And the next thing you know is I'm doing the schedule, and we're going on our third year now as resident on Fridays and Saturday nights.
That's beautiful, and I like how you brought up that point about being one of the residents for Friday and Saturday night because you personally be here on DJing all those nights because I see it on Instagram on the story. Make sure y'all tap into Barattini on especially Barattini Productions on the Twitch because when I tell you it's amazing, I tune in on Friday nights when I'm not at work. I swear on everything. But Kels, when you're shaping that night, what goes through your brain to actually shape a beautiful night musically wise?
So you're absolutely right. When I do spin here, I go on Twitch. I've got a very similar interface like you guys. Got the Apollo MK2 and a really badass USB support drive. So I'm actually running OBS, the Apollo, the UAD software, all of it on one computer while spinning Serato. Absolutely, it's the coolest thing in the world. And so I'm streaming on Twitch, as well as rocking the room. I'd have to say, as far as like what I'm looking for, like by design, is a 50-50 marriage of having a bit of understanding of your nights, which comes from doing this place often. So Fridays and Saturday nights are actually a little different from each other. And you kind of pick up on that the more that you do it. And so there's a little bit of preparation, but you don't want to have the preparation handcuff you. So what I'm saying is sometimes I'll come in with an idea and the whole thing will get thrown out because of a reaction to a certain song. And I'll say, oh, okay, they want a couple of these cuts right here. So let's say like I wasn't planning on playing country. And then the next thing you know is I get such a great reaction during the warm-up of Wagon Wheel, and I'm like, oh, okay, they're a country crowd tonight. So therefore, my preparation now is rendered null and void, And so it's a mix between having a bit of preparation, coming in with a certain spirit, but at the same time, just being aware of the room, keeping your head up, looking at the people around you, and what kind of reactions is coming from the music.
That's beautiful because like The music is key, and I see it on a night to night basis, especially when I'm working as a sound tech doing for Barattini. Like I look back to Kels, I'm like, whew, how you do that? But I like how you brought up the point about you guys been in partnership for 3 years, and when people walk in here, what has the atmosphere look like? Because you guys been in partnership for a decent amount of time, and how's it evolved?
Absolutely. So I don't have any particular like specific research on like the data of the positive reaction from since we took residency. However, I have a lot of hearsay. I have a lot of word of mouth. I've heard that. And so, in a way speaking, word on the street is people have just become familiar with the idea that Goody Two Shoes has really good DJs on Fridays and Saturday nights from 9 to 1. And that came from consistency. And that came from the staff here at Barattini, and then a few wonderful individuals that aren't necessarily Barattini DJs, but they're friends of mine, and they fill in the gaps for when we're out doing weddings and other events and stuff like that. Because I'm literally staffing Friday and Saturday nights for a full year. That's roughly 50 to 52 weeks. And then add in Thanksgiving Eve and New Year's Eve. It's a little bit of a tall order. Now, I'm usually able to get like a good 60% of it done with just the Barattini guys, but sometimes I have to go to some wonderful folks like Zero, the DJ, Paris, Decoy, another gentleman by the name of Christian. And one of our recent hires, too, was from that outer, circle, I guess you could say, for lack of better words. His name is Steve Geiger. And we just picked him up recently. So the actual consistency, right, from the Fridays and Saturday nights being really great energy from 9 to 1 and playing it correctly. All right, we're not coming out of the gate at 9 o'clock swinging. You have a turnover a little bit from the restaurant into the nightlife. You usually get people coming in ready to go, so to speak, like 10:30. So you kind of keep your eyes on that and the finesse of the way that the night moves. And I believe that the consistency of that has built a word-of-mouth vibe here, like go to Goody. So there's a lot of wonderful establishments here on Main Street. But I believe that the nightlife caption of the best drinks and the best music, I think, is here at Goody Two Shoes on Fridays and Saturday nights.
Honestly, I can agree. As soon as I walked in, it just felt so welcoming. Like truly, like everybody was like, "Hey, how you doing?" Even previously before we started, "Hey, let me follow the podcast?" I'm like, "Why not?" And it's beautiful as you said that. And from your perspective as a DJ, from the start into the finish of the night, what is like the feeling and the rhythm of that, like throughout that night? Because I want to hear your perspective as that, because you're the one that's actually controlling the room.
All right, so the first hour, definitely, I have a little bit more freedom to go into areas that I don't have to necessarily be so conscious of, is this song working, so to speak, because it's a warm-up time, so it's more of a vibe. It's more melody-based and kind of supportive around the room. We also do volume control. So for the first hour, I'm not even necessarily picking up my mains that are next to me. I'm really in the house. And then slowly but surely, I bring those mains up. Now, my point for saying all that is the first hour, sometimes you could catch me running like Common, Talib Kweli, like joints like that. Blast, The Light, that kind of hip hop where you're kind of underground New York City, and it's cool. It feels cool. I'm not playing Shawn Mendes, and no disrespect to Shawn Mendes, but the vibe is a bit more like privatized. It's a bit more VIP. Like, oh, this is kind of cool. So I could get away with that in that first hour. I've also gotten away with my own compositions. I literally have enough songs throughout my life, thank God, that I literally have ran the first hour like all original compositions, like from the Senate to Vocal Junkies, because I'm able to, thank God, they sound decent enough that even though they don't know the song, it doesn't sound like something that's not polished, right? So it's like they're more so like, oh, it's interesting. I actually don't know this song. Sounds great, So I'm actually able to get away with a lot of Vocal Junkies tunes, Senate tunes. I would say more so than not, I am running hip hop, 90 BPM hip hop, 100 BPM hip hop for that first hour. And then from that 10 to 10:30, I'm probably going to be taking you up tempo a little bit. And so by 10:45, we're kind of in our 120 BPM, 125 BPM, and we're partying. I'll probably run that for a good 30 minutes. And for the rest of the evening until 1 p.m., I'm pretty much not overdoing a certain rhythm. All right? So like people have been successful running 120 to 130 BPM for 45 minutes to an hour. I necessarily don't do it that way, but I don't do it in a way that's so choppy that you lose your footing. But I'm probably doing 25-minute to 30-minute spots, and I'm giving you different speeds to kind of, I call it shocking you, shock the room, shock the song selection, and kind of transition in and out of things so something doesn't become too mundane.
And I like how you use that phrase, shock the room, because that is key, because you do want to, like, a little commotion to throw them like, whoa, I didn't know you could do that. But that leads to...
It's like in content when they say hooks, like here's the hook, here's the close-up, here's the lyric hook, here is the visual hook. Every single time I'm doing a switch, it's a music hook. It's another portion. So even though a clip can be a minute long and we have multiple hooks in that 1 minute, visually via content, ours is a bit more stretched out, but the same thing. So in 25 minutes, I may have a hook after that 25 minutes to bring you to the next element.
That's beautiful. And, like, is there any, like, I guess maybe specific moments working with Goody Two Shoes for Barattini, like, this is one of those nights? Like, is there any, like, specific moments you can highlight?
100%. There's 3 that come to mind right out the gate. So obviously your Thanksgiving Eves and your New Year's Eves are ready. So you're definitely coming in knowing that the vibe is very high energy and you're not necessarily doing that warm-up hour. You're going, which is a lot of fun. The third memory that comes to mind is I wound up in a really cool moment where I caught a high school reunion at my opening. This was actually just a couple of weeks ago. This wasn't too long ago. And then high school reunion was about 30 to 40 bodies deep. So, and for the size of the space out there, it's like, oh, okay, this is got, you can't really, there's some people in here, at 9:30. And so that was one that definitely stood out to me was the actual restaurant itself is grabbing certain events like that, like high school reunions, anniversaries, bachelorette gatherings, those kinds of things where we're catching those crowds from the 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, private room hour spilling over back into the bar area. And those are always wind up being big nights because they stay. So when you have that portion of people stay, plus your crowd that's in the area in town, it ends up being a very big night. Dude, I have to say, Goody is like always packed. Like by 10:30, 11 o'clock, there's always a lot of bodies in here.
And what's the difference between a Barattini night compared to a regular night? Because I know at Barattini, we do it different.
I would have to say that the Fridays, it's not necessarily a difference between a regular night and a Barattini night. I think that it's more of an additional item. So the experience that folks are getting here at Goody Two Shoes is the highest service, highest quality, and without a doubt, the best quality drinks. That's like big in this restaurant business. So you have a family place, and you also have a place that you could come to after your 9 to 5. And a little bit of a place for some folks to come and watch the games. They're very big on the Arsenal games here. They're very big on basketball games, sporting games. So a lot of people come to watch those games. So the vibe here is already on 10. It's fire. You could see from the surroundings around you just the care that's put into this place. All of the staff is amazing. Shout out Maya. Shout out Nas. Shout out Slim. Shout out Mel. Shout out the whole crew. And when you start to interact, you can definitely feel like you're being cared for and you're being serviced properly. So when you have the Barattini element now on a Friday and Saturday night, you're getting all of that and more. So it's more of an additional item. So just when you thought that it couldn't go any further, you add us in the mix, Remy, Abel, myself, Danny Lilly, Nick Fischetti, Steve Wicks, and you're getting a fantastic night.
That's amazing. Like from a night, because I know in real time you deal with a lot of stuff. So how are you able to balance the music and even like seeing some of the workers, the service aspect, and even like just the energy? How do you balance all that? Because in real time, I know it's at a different speed.
So it definitely is something that I settle into. So what's interesting is that when it seems like it could be getting intense, I think that's kind of like where you're, like, hey, we've got a packed house. The bar is packed. You can barely hear each other speak. People having a good time. There are a couple of drinks in. It's a little bit of an intensity. I find myself being very comfortable in that element. So I would say that handling such an environment is I literally just chill out my spirit and just enjoy. So as soon as I tell myself, oh wow, this is dope. Like that's it. Like I'm good. As far as now, all of the noise and overthinking goes away. And now, in a way, I'm a part of them and they're a part of me. So we're all together in this. So the song selections that come from that moment of high intensity, they come out very natural because I feel like I'm connected to them. I'm in touch with them.
That was beautiful, Kels. Oh my gosh, man, that was amazing, bro. Because
I'm coming
like,
on your show and freestyling one day. No, seriously, you're gonna drop beats and I'm just gonna rap.
Hey, I'm down with whatever.
Like I've rapped my whole life.
So, for Barattini and Goody Two Shoes, with this partnership, what are some things can we expect? Because I know we host like a lot of different events, holiday parties, or just even like the official Barattini party and stuff like that. What can we look forward to with the two companies?
So a little bit of a preface, right? Is that this has been such a wonderful experience because what has happened, what has come from this, that nobody would be able to call. You couldn't call this bank shot that occurred. Was Goody Two Shoes ended up becoming a showroom for us. So I find now every weekend there's always couples that have had their weddings that come back to enjoy in the music and the energy. And there's also couples that have booked their weddings that's coming up and they come and check us out. So I literally had just recently one of my brides on Friday night, Jennifer and Richard Doctor, right? She had her bachelorette party here, and Jeremy was spinning. Jay Remy, shout out Jay Remy.
Yes, indeed.
And Jay Remy was their DJ 2 weeks later. And Brianna, who is also in the bridal party, we're doing her wedding on the 20th, it's coming up right now on the 24th. I believe it's a Sunday. And she was in the bridal party with Jen, so she got to see. So like, it is very cool how it's become very communal, in that when our account managers are working with our couples, they could literally say, "Hey, your DJ is actually at Goody in 2 weeks. If you want to go and check him out." That's gold. That is just gold. They get to go, they get to listen, they get to go say hello. That bond happens. That's like gold. It's beautiful. What a beautiful opportunity, right? What also has occurred from that is we've had the pleasure and the opportunity of doing a lot of the staff's weddings here. So like Lauren and Danielle, Melanie's is coming up November 1st. Her and Michael, we're doing their wedding. So we've done all their weddings. So it definitely has become a family bond. They invite us to their holiday party every year. Like, they definitely have taken us in as family. I couldn't be more grateful. All of us couldn't be more grateful here at Barattini. So that's the preface to your question of, we've already seen wonderful things happen just naturally and organically in this 2 to 3 years. Now, I've had passing conversations. I only spoke to him twice. I spoke to him once at a holiday party, on both holiday parties, briefly. Drew, the owner, right? And I kind of was just like, yo, man, what's up with the brunches? So I would like to see that happen. But he actually did let me know there's a lot involved in that. That I learned a lot from him just from his feedback, that you have to really work on changing over the menu. Staff changes too with timings and stuff like that. But I think that if there was ever a possibility or an opportunity to do brunches back here with a boiler room DJ setup, I think that would be fire. We're talking like bacon, eggs, coffee. You see the uptick of your 6 a.m. parties happening overseas in UK. I think this room right here has the potential for that. So, like, if people want to catch, like, a quick little rave from, like, 4 to 6 a.m. before they go to work, it needs to happen here. So I know I'm being very far-fetched and being very futuristic, but these are the things that I think about when I'm sitting alone at night. It would be really cool to do some brunches over here, maybe some Sundays, bottomless mimosas, something along those. But he had definitely educated me that there is quite a bit of thought that goes into some brunches.
This place is a beautiful family melting pot.
Big time.
It really is.
Big time.
Because everybody works hand in hand and help each other's out. Weddings, within the actual place, Goody, Two Shoes, Barattini. It's a beautiful
and
family
we did have a
melting
holiday
pot.
party here.
Yes.
We had the holiday party here, and it was wonderful to be here for our holiday party. That was a very cool moment for me. Big time cool moment for me. Here I am, part owner of Barattini Productions. I have this wonderful bond going with this partnered company, Goody Two Shoes, and we get to share our night out in their establishment. It was just the coolest thing in the world. It really was. It was a nice night that night. And then after the holiday party, I spun. So we had some sliders, some fries. We're rolling pretty deep in here, Barattini Company, and then I spun the 9-to-1 segment, and everybody stayed, and we had a bunch of laughs and a great time.
Nah, it's amazing. The pictures all the pictures look great with everybody, and this leads into seeing the light. Because when you see the light, you're kind of in those stages of like you actually achieving certain things. So for someone that's trying to build a small space or a brand or just an idea, what advice can you give to them, Kels? Because I know one of your small ideas blossoms to anything, because I know you're that type of person.
So you're saying, what is something as far as an idea? Where can things be taken?
Yes. What advice can you give to that person that's trying to blossom a small idea, a small business, or just anything?
Copy that. It's a two-part thing that I want somebody on that blossom scenario to be aware of. The first thing is it's this massage. It's very similar to what I was mentioning about the music, where sometimes I come in with preparation and that gets thrown out the window. So for anybody that has a specific idea, stay consistent with it, but also be open to pivot. Right? So if you're working on I'm trying to think of like a cool example where there's certain scenarios. This is probably not the best example, but let's say someone that loves to read, right? And they're thinking about maybe writing a book, okay? Now, you can go for that goal and go for it. But if an idea pops up to go and open up a bookstore, do it. Right? Where it's kind of hand in hand. So like I'm a producer, right? I'm producer, make music, right? So my initial goal was to be a rock star, right? But I landed here. And so I'm happy about that. I found that this is where I was supposed to be. So it's almost kind of like when you have that blossom idea, stay with it, but please keep your eye open on the journey. Keep your eye open on the journey to see if there is another turn or place or fork in the road that you should be going. Be aware of it. Don't have the blinders on so much. Now, at the same time, people have gotten success by putting the blinders on, right? Where it becomes such an obsession. Their perseverance and will is what made it happen. So I'm kind of more so be consistent in your path, but at the same time, don't be scared to pick and roll or to be nimble. One more thing I want to leave with you guys before we go to the next question. All right? This is a really really cool thing. I'm going to paraphrase this story, but it's a young boy, and he's talking to the king of this kingdom. And the young boy, the king goes, take this drop of oil in a spoon and don't drop the oil. Go into every single room in the kingdom, and when you come back, I want to see that you didn't drop the oil. The kid goes around the whole kingdom, really concentrating on this drop of oil. He brings it back to the king, and he goes, here, I didn't drop the oil. He goes, oh, well, that's wonderful. Great job. Did you see my library? And the kid goes, no, I didn't see your library. I was too concentrated on not dropping the oil. And he goes, oh, did you see the entertainment area? He says, no. He said, did you see my, arena? No. Did you see my stables? No. He goes, I want you to go back out there now, don't drop the oil, and pay attention to your surroundings around you. And he comes back, and it turns out that he did drop the oil, but he finally got to see the rooms. The point is it's tough to do both at the same time, and when you can master that by understanding your surroundings around you while concentrating, that's the Zen moment right there.
That's beautiful. The yin and the yang,
The
I would
yin
like
and
to
the
say.
yang, yes, when it comes together.
And when people leave Goody 2 shows on a Friday or a Saturday night, what do you hope they expect for the experience?
When they're leaving here, I
Yeah.
hope that they are saying, I can't wait to go back next weekend. It's that simple. I want them to leave here, and I want them to have this comfortability that they found their place. They found their spot. They found a night that they can repeat. And I noticed that here. I noticed a lot of repeat folks that are enjoying themselves. I've become friends with some of them here. And I think that's like the biggest takeaway from when they leave here is that they say, I can't wait to go back and do that again. And, bring my friends. So that definitely would be something that I would want somebody to take away with them when they leave here on a night, yeah.
That's amazing. Kels.
There's a lot of people at 1 o'clock that say, they go, oh, no, you're done? I'm like, I got a wedding tomorrow, man. I got to get home.
I was getting ready to say that. They do that at the weddings, too. But, Kels, I really do appreciate you coming on, man, especially here at Goody 2 Shoes, because I know Barattini rocks tonight. You rock tonight. All the DJs rock tonight. And thank you for being a great man, human in my life. Like, you've been a very influential mentor in my life, and I truly do appreciate you, Kels, honestly. Really.
I don't take it lightly. Let's keep it going. I love seeing what you're doing. It's awesome, dude. You keep going. Every time I come across your channel, every time I see you hustling, you putting that work in, I smile. I love it. You make me energized. Love having you on the jobs. You are a beautiful spirit. You're a wonderful young man. Parents did a great job with you.
Thank you.
Yes.
I appreciate that.
And we're happy to have you here. You're the man, bro.
Thank you.
Kevin, it's been a pleasure. And Adrian, I think his name, right?
Yes.
Adrian, my man. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for having me here. And I'm coming back. I've got bars. All right? I've got bars.
Yes, indeed. So
You definitely clip that, and say, okay, Kels has got bars. All right? We're at a bar, and I've got bars. Okay? Just
double
saying.
entendre. Well, guys, this is Through the Tunnel Podcast. This is a podcast where the person, they're able to elaborate their life, their journey, the trials and tribulations, because that's where the people want to hear. We don't want to hear the highlights. We want to hear the realness. And I'm Aaron Jones, and I'm glad to walk through Kels' tunnel, but I know we got a part 2 coming.
Part 2, 3, 4, 5.
I won't burn unless you're there, you're there. Ooh.
Non mais je dis yeah, mais